Hi, my name is Charles Hachet, and welcome back to Design Patterns for Game Developers. Today we're going to be looking at a UML that describes what our abstract factory looks like and how it works. At the top of our UML, you'll see that we have a client here, and the client's job is to have a direct interaction with the abstract factory, the abstract products, and through them, the concrete factory and concrete products. The client only knows enough to be able to call or create an abstract factory that is going to be backed by some concrete factory. Once it receives a product back, one or multiple different types of products, it can then use those products, again, through that layer of abstraction. So what this will look like is the client will ask the abstract factory to create some sort of a product. That interface is backed by the concrete factory, which will actually create each one of those products, concrete product A and concrete product B. When the client asks the concrete factory to create product A or product B, it will pass back those to the client. Then the client knows very little about the actual implementation of the product, but they know how they can interact with it based on the interface that was defined. So they can use the concrete A product and they can use the concrete B product. Let's take a look to remind ourselves how the participants work in this case. In our far left column, this is going to be our participants. We have our abstract factory, abstract product, concrete product, and client. In the middle column, we've got our purpose. So for our abstract factory, this is going to be an interface for creating products. And then on the right-hand column, we have our example. This is how we're actually going to create it inside of Unity. So our abstract factory is an interface for creating products, and it's going to be built using the eyeball factory. It is common practice to make interfaces with a capital I at the beginning. For our concrete factory, it's going to be an implementation of the abstract factory methods. In our case, the exact example will be a red, blue ball factory, and it will implement the eyeball factory interface. The abstract product works very similarly to the abstract factory in that it's an interface for a type of product. In our case, we're going to create an eyeball. Then we have a concrete product. This will back the abstract product. It will be created by the concrete factory, and it'll implement the abstract product's interface. In our example, we're going to have a red ball and a blue ball that will implement the eyeball interface. Last, we've got our client. The client interfaces from the abstract factory and the abstract product. This is going to be done through the implementation of the ball launcher. So cleaning up our UML a little bit here, we've got our client that's going to be the ball launcher, and it's going to be interfacing through the red ball and the blue ball using the eyeball interface. It's going to be asking for those to be created through the red, blue ball factory via the eyeball factory interface. Lastly, when talking about the lifetime of our classes, we've got a MyBall launcher that will create the factory. The abstract factory will be created and passed back to the ball launcher. This is going to be done through that abstract interface layer, which will actually end up creating the red, blue ball factory. Then we will use the MyBall launcher to ask the red blue ball factory to create ball 1. This is done through the interface of the abstract factory. The red blue ball factory will then create a red ball for us, and that will end up getting returned back to the factory. Then our MyBall launcher will create a ball 2 through the abstract factory and be implemented in the concrete red blue ball factory. This will create a new blue ball, and it will end up passing it back to the MyBall launcher. Let's see how that gets implemented.